Okay, well, welcome everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. It's just a little bit past 5:30. I am Stephanie DeGori. I am an assistant principal here at Colonial Forge High School. I help to supervise the Cyber4 program. In tonight's meeting, we have Deborah Ingram. She is our business department chair. And then we also have Miss Dia Green, which is going to fill you in on a majority of the information and answer your questions as well. So we just want to let you know that this meeting is being recorded. By continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting to being recorded. If you have any questions, please make sure that you put those in the chat, and Miss Ingram is going to help us moderate. Go ahead, be a mediator throughout the chat, and we will make sure that we get all of your questions answered. Also, just to kind of help with the bandwidth with everyone, we want to make sure that you have your cameras turned off and your microphone off as well. Okay, so for those of you just joining us, just real quick, just please make sure that you keep your camera off and your microphone off. And if you have questions, we are going to go ahead and put those into the chat. And we will make sure that we go through and answer everybody's question for you tonight. Okay, so our next slide here, we've got Elevate Stafford, our goals. So a meaningful post-secondary outcomes for the choices for all of our students. Here at Colonial Forge, as every school in Stafford County, we have high expectations and we expect academic excellence for all of our students. We provide a safe, engaging, and welcoming environment for all. And the support and investment is with all of our staff, plus some of our community members that are high contributors for this program.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gorey. Again, good morning, good evening. Thank you for joining. We're going to be talking tonight about Colonial Forge Cyber4 Plus program. We're excited for the cohort class of 2028 who have applied and been accepted. We asked, and we're going to talk more about being confirmed and confirming your position by February 21st. We'll go a little bit into the program overview, the program sequence, and where you can find resources, some questions about logistics on becoming a freshman at Colonial Forge, and then finally, we'll answer any questions. If through any time during this presentation, if you have questions, we ask you to please put your email address and put your question within the chat. Again, we ask you to put your email address and put your question within inside of the chat. Continue to keep your cameras off and to maintain being muted during this recorded process. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to go a little bit into the program overview. Miss Ingram will be able to put that overview inside the chat for us, for anyone that needs it. But the program overview essentially shares with us just the background of Cyber4 Plus. It's our cybersecurity dual enrollment program, which offers students the opportunity to kind of explore two tracks of earning an associate's degree, as well as pursuing cybersecurity courses that could result in them earning a certifications in 4 areas in CompTIA, including the ITF, A+, Networking Plus, and Security Plus programs. And again, Ms. Ingram can go ahead and put the program overview. The Cyber4 Plus program sequence is a PDF. We'll put that in the chat for everyone to see as I'm speaking. The industry certification and coursework is really where a lot of that dual enrollment certification comes in. In 9th grade, our students are introduced to IT fundamentals. That's course 6670. And that is for any individual that is going to be, that was accepted, that will be their course that will be taking in freshman year. That course is correlated with the CompTIA ITF exam. Upon completion in this course and inside of this certification, they would move on to Cybersecurity 1, Cybersecurity 2, and Cybersecurity 3 in 12th grade. And in order to have these programs and have these courses and to take these exams, there is a lot of background information that students will be attaining from their classes to make sure that they're properly prepared to take these exams. For the advanced math and English and science portions, they're really essential to completing those in order to maintain the second part of the Cyber4 process, which is earning that associate's degree. And we'll talk more about that in the next slide. Again, if you have any questions regarding the sequence or any questions as we go through, we ask you just to put your email address and your question in the chat. So here is the Cyber4 Plus sequence. You'll find this in the Cyber4 Plus sequence that has been shared in the chat. It's also available inside this presentation, which is also going to be shared in the chat, as well as the program of study. So Ms. Ingram can put those 3 documents in there for anyone who would like to view them after this presentation is over. And as you can see, it takes you through a very robust sequence. There are 4 years typically in high school, and we typically have opportunities to take 8 classes a year. So it's about 32 opportunities to take classes. About 32 opportunities to take classes. And as you can see, all these little boxes are pretty full. There's lots of different courses and options to take here. I wanted to bring your attention to, on the sequence, the area here for math. You'll see that there are a total of 12 boxes there for math. There is options for students to begin Algebra 1 in 9th grade, or there's some students that are already attained Algebra 1 in 8th grade, so they will start in geometry. And then there's some students that are already currently in geometry in 8th grade, and they will start in Algebra 2. We do encourage as many students as possible to complete Algebra 1 before beginning this sequence, because as you can see, all these boxes are full and it just helps the students. But again, it's an encouragement. It's definitely not a requirement, as there is opportunities to be able to take these higher level courses in 11th and 12th grade year. And because this is dual enrollment meaning 2, there's an opportunity to attain their graduation requirements, to graduate from high school with an advanced diploma, as well as the second part of the dual, which is completing the associate's degree that would be awarded by Germanna Community College. Okay. Here's some more information about the dual enrollment expectations that students would be pursuing in 11th and 12th grade. And even though these are rising 9th graders, there are prerequisites that are required before the students can move forward in those dual enrollment classes. So we need to address them now. So before their high school 11th and 12th grade year, students have to have a 3.0, which is about a B average. And they also will look at their PSC, PSAT, SAT, and ACT scores if they've taken them already. We know that our 8th graders have an opportunity to pursue the PSAT in 8th grade. And so those classes, that PSAT assessment is something that is definitely looked at for the dual enrollment progress. So even though they're in 8th grade, or they'll be taken again in 9th grade, and they'll take it again in 10th grade, those are really important assessments that are used for those metrics. And then there's also a Virginia placement option test that is used. But typically, if the students have a 3.0 average, that Virginia placement test is not needed. In math, the students must have a 3.0, and they must have at least a C or higher and already completing Algebra 2. And so these are some of the requirements for dual enrollment before the students can enter into 11th grade to be able to pursue that associate's degree. via Germanna Community College. Again, if you have any questions, we ask you to put your email address and your question inside the chat. We ask you to remain muted and your camera off. Additional requirements to prepare for dual enrollment is to make sure that the GPA stays high. What we tell our students is congratulations on getting accepted inside the lottery. However, the work does not stop just with that acceptance. It's only just beginning. So we want students to continue to strive for their best grades and to be able to be prepared for the next step of being high school students. And this includes good time management and developing study skills, learning how to advocate for themselves, using email to be able to communicate questions as far as their grades or as far as their course sequence, actively engaging in your course inside in your pathway. If mentorship opportunities or work-based learning opportunities are presented, these are valuable parts of the Cyber4 Plus cohort, and we want to ensure that students are taking full advantage of these during this time. But again, it's advocacy upon the student. As they transition and going into high school, it's valuable for the students to begin to exercise these workplace readiness skills so they are better prepared to not only be prepared high school students, but also be prepared for the workforce and beyond. They also need to have awareness of understanding what those expectations are in the associate's degree. As we discussed, having those preliminary items completed prior to 11th and 12th grade. And so even in 9th grade, we're starting with the end in mind. One exciting thing that we have for Cyber4 Plus is an orientation. And this orientation is a great opportunity that will take place June 10th through the 13th at their new home. They'll be officially an Eagle at Colonial Forge High School, and they'll have an opportunity to participate in a team building cohort, explore pathways to success, and gain a deeper understanding of what their expectations are. So these slides are just words, but we create some great team building and have some great guests for them to come and learn more about the field of cybersecurity and how to understand the expectations for success that they will have as an Eagle at Colonial Forge and also as a member of the class of 2028 cohort for Cyber4 Plus. So all students in the cohort are expected to participate in this orientation. So information about the application. Again, if you have any questions, we encourage you to put your email address and your question in the chat. The first round of notifications went out just a week ago today, on February 5th. And the first selection deadline, so if you received an acceptance or your student received an acceptance, it doesn't stop there. You have to go into the lottery website, which Ms. Ingram will put that link inside the chat for the lottery. You have to go back inside that account and accept it. You have to go back inside of the lottery account and accept the offer. You're going to click View Submitted Applications and accept the offer. Accepting this offer will decline all other offers, including any ones that you were on the wait list. If you are waitlisted now and you've received an offer after February 6th, then your deadline for accepting the offer is 16 days after that acceptance. So for instance, if you received an acceptance today on February 12th, then that means on February 28th, that 16 days after that acceptance will automatically decline. So it's important to please use that lottery website to go in to confirm your submitted application that you accept the offer. Transportation regarding students in the lottery and being accepted to the specialty programs is listed on the screen. Any rising 9th or 10th grader student that accepts an offer to attend a specialty center or program pathway will be required to transfer to the offering school. Rising 11th and 12th grade students may choose to travel to their program. Cyber4 Plus is only available to students that are rising ninth graders or rising 10th. But the wonderful news is that we have cybersecurity programs in each and every one of our 5 high schools. So that's exceptional news. So exciting news. If you potentially have an 11th or 12th grader that is interested in cybersecurity at any one of our high schools, they can pursue cybersecurity courses. However, rising 9th and 10th students that are accepted into Cyber4 Plus have the opportunity to participate in the cohort at Colonial Forge. Additional information regarding logistics and sports are as follows. Students who transfer and become a full member of the school of Colonial Forge includes all VHSL eligibility, including clubs and sports and activities. Students who leave a center or program will require to return to their zoned high school. Students wishing to transfer into a different path at their center may make this request if space is available, and they would do so by contacting their counseling team at their school. This is pretty much the end of our formal presentation. We'll take time to look at the questions and answer those inside the chat. We ask you to remain with your cameras off and your microphones off, and we will answer questions inside the chat. However, if you have any additional questions regarding Cyber4 Plus or the logistics, the names of contact individuals are on the screen. Okay. If you have any questions about the lottery process specifically, please email the email that's on the screen at academicprograms@staffordschools.net. Okay, I'm gonna take some time now and answer some of the questions that I see in the screen. Thank you so much in advance, Ms. Ingram, for helping with navigating those. I think the first question that I see says, how is this program different than the innovations in technology? I think you're referring to ATI, which is a school within a school. So that's going to be at the Mary Washington campus. So that is a completely separate school. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Miss Ingram, I think you're not muted. Oh, thank you. Okay, so that's a completely separate school, and that program does have an interest on students that work and have interest in engineering, information technology, and sciences and applied sciences, but it's not a focus specifically on cybersecurity. So Cyber4 Plus is exclusively for students that have 2 things: an interest in cybersecurity and want the interest of getting an associate's degree. If you'd like more information regarding the ATI program, ATI will have a information night in person on February 14th at 4:30 p.m. Okay, let's see. The next question that I see says, the transportation slide just states that older students are allowed to drive to school versus having to take the bus. I'll go ahead to that slide to address this. The transportation slide identifies that 9th and 10th grade students that are accepted to this program are formally transferring to the school. Therefore, if they are whatever their base school is based on their address, they would formally become a member of Colonial Forge and go to school at Colonial Forge for the remainder of their time in high school. So, and transportation will be provided regardless of where their base school or their address is upon acceptance. 11th and 12th graders will choose to travel. And what we mean by travel is they will spend half the time at their base school, and the other half of the time they would travel via bus transportation by the school division to their program school, which would be Colonial Forge. However, Colonial Forge and Cyber4 Plus does not offer travel for Cyber4 Plus. Other specialty programs do, but for Cyber4 Plus, it's only for 9th graders and 10th graders. So current 8th graders and current 9th graders. What do you do when you go on the link to accept it and it's blank? So I'm not completely sure what blank means. What I would encourage, I'm going to put a link on the screen. I'm going to put an email on the screen. If you can send a screenshot or put your email address inside of the chat, so we can get this question answered directly, because we just see your name and we need your email address. So for the question, what do you do if you go to the link and to accept and it's blank? I would ask you to email the academic programs at staffordschools.net. Send a screenshot of what you see, and then we'll be able to answer that special case individually. The next question is again the transportation question. How will transportation work? Will a student take their normal bus to their zone high school and then arrive at Colonial Forge? We don't want our children to be at a disadvantage. So thank you for that question. The logistics regarding transportation will be formulated by our Office of Transportation at the Department of Transportation, and it really just depends on the logistics. What the commitment to our division is that no student will be on the bus longer than 90 minutes. It has not been confirmed any additional specifics, as we don't know where all the students are coming from, so it's difficult to be able to identify those routes now. But the goal of our Department of Transportation, after we have all the confirmations from our families, is to get that information out as soon as possible. And hopefully families will have that information soon, and soon being in the summer. But the commitment as a division is no student will be on the buses longer than 90 minutes. In order to get on the list, someone has to decline an offer. So I'm going to the next question in the list. And if you want to put your email address down, we'll send this to you, but we'll just answer live on this video as well. So if your student is on the wait list, in order to get off the wait list, someone else has to decline. One of the wonderful things about Cyber4 Plus is that the good thing is that even if your student is not accepted to Cyber4 Plus, all 5 high schools have the first 3 courses at all 5 high schools. So even if they're not accepted in the Cyber4 Plus, simply because of numbers, we have limited professional educators that can teach these high-level courses. So it's just numbers and how much we can provide these programs to students. But we would encourage you that, again, all 5 of our high schools offer introduction to information technology, and they also all have cybersecurity 1 course, and many of them offer cybersecurity 2. So they still have an opportunity to have many parts of this robust sequence at all 5 high schools. I see the email. Will students be able to transfer to a 4-year college where their credits transfer? This is an excellent question. So in the newest program sequence that Ms. Ingram put inside of the email, inside the chat, these are transferable Germana credits. There's some that are just credentialing, and then there's some that are transferable. We're excited that for this particular program for Cyber4 Plus, all of these courses are transferable. to four-year colleges. So the question is, do you have to take all math, science, and English, advanced math, science, and English throughout the years? If you're interested in getting the dual enrollment credit, the answer is yes. Though the dual enrollment classes are more rigor and are more challenging, but is the expectation of getting an associate's degree while you're still in high school. That's the requirement in order to attain that. Can students still pursue an advanced diploma? Absolutely. Cyber4 Plus is a very rigorous program, and the way that it is designed is for students to earn an advanced diploma. Will students be able to participate in ROTC if they're in Cyber4 Plus? I'll go back to the slide that shows the sequence. And as I mentioned before, it's a really robust program. As you can see, here's a total of all of the boxes there, and it includes the cybersecurity courses, the electives, the math, world language, health, English, history, and math classes to not only graduate, but also to attain the associate's degree. As you can see, many of these boxes are full. So there's limited opportunity for students to pursue additional program tracks while in Cyber4 Plus. It would be very difficult. Now, if the student already came in with say Algebra 1 or geometry, and they've already earned credit for a language, that may be 2 or 3 courses that they've already taken. So it may be plausible for them to pursue additional ones, but it's really going to be a challenge based on the number of required courses in the sequence. Thank you, Ms. Ingram. Ms. Ingram has placed the program sequence back inside the chat, and we'll also provide the link to this presentation inside the chat as well. The courses shared inside the course sequence shared inside this is the course sequence and the recommended sequence for the program. Correct. Cyber4 Plus is not available to virtual learners at this time. It is 5:59. We will stay inside the chat for another 3 minutes. Should you have any additional questions, continue to put those inside of the chat. If you do not have any questions, this is the conclusion of the formal presentation. Feel free to email the email on the screen at the academicprograms@staffordschools.net. Also, if you need to check your status on the lottery, that lottery's website was placed inside the chat. And if you don't have any questions, you can feel free to leave the meet. This is the formal ending of the presentation, unless you have additional questions. Okay. Okay. Says next school year, while we are picking classes, we'll be able to follow the class structure, or do we have the same form as everyone else? You can pick your classes, but your counselors will have your recommended sequence that is written here. So you'll have that as a guideline for your expectations to follow that course sequence for Cyber4 Plus. So yes, you get to choose your courses, but in order to be in Cyber4 Plus, it's expected for you to follow this course sequence. Okay. We'll continue to take questions for the next 2 minutes.
Ms. Green, there is a question. In your opinion, would a student benefit more with the cyber program or the Commonwealth Governor School program?
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you, Ms. Ingram. I would say, in my opinion, that our families are the best individuals to make those recommendations based on your student and their experience and their desires for the future. So I would encourage you to go to our program of study and to review each one of those programs to see which one is best for you. I will say Cyber4 Plus has the opportunity for students to earn those four. And when I say opportunity, it's just that students have to test and earn it. It's just not because you take the course that you get those tests. Those tests are challenging, and they do require students to have strong work ethic and to study. Right now, we ask our students to study 90 minutes a day, every day, as they prepare for their next assessments. So, with entering the workforce, I think the wonderful thing about Stafford Schools is that we offer many paths to success on whatever students and their families identify success as. So please use our program of study as a guide to be able to look at those sequences to make those best decisions for your family. Are students who are enrolled in Cyber4 Plus more likely to continue higher education or enter the workforce right away? That's an excellent question. The wonderful thing is that this is cohort number 3. And we don't have those metrics yet because this program, the inaugural program, they're sophomores. They're only in 10th grade. So we don't have metrics to be able to identify that, but we are looking at those successes. And hopefully in 2 years, once we have those graduates, those class of 2026, when they graduate, we'll be able to have more of those metrics to be able to see the comparison between the students that are interested in higher education or going directly to the world of work. How can we input from current students enrolled in Cyber4 Plus to get their perspective? Well, we had a Cyber4 Plus night in December, and we also had Pathways to Success night in November, where those students were participated and they were there to answer questions. What percentage of Cyber4 Plus students have remained in the program? 100%. All of them still remain in the program. That's a good question. Thank you for asking. And we understand that these are hard decisions to be able to make, to decipher. But one good thing is that there's not necessarily a wrong decision in this case, because again, all high schools offer cybersecurity classes. It may not be packaged as Cyber4 Plus, but it's still great opportunities for students to pursue curriculum inside cybersecurity. We'd like to thank you so much for your time in participating in this virtual presentation. Again, if you have any questions regarding academic programs or Cyber4 Plus, we encourage you to email academicprograms@staffordschools.net. For those of you that put your emails inside the chat, we will answer those questions we will answer your questions and respond via email. But at this time, this concludes this presentation. We thank you all for your participation, and you are welcome to leave the meet.
Mrs. Green, we do have one last question. How many seats are in that program?
How many seats are in the program for the cohort 3, which is rising 9th graders? There are 100 seats. Thank you, Ms. Ingram.